Hi guys, welcome back to 100% Mag. So today, as you can see, I am joined by an Arsenal fan once again. As always on the channel, we get an Arsenal fan on to talk about their side of this game. This was a massive game last season at St James's Park. Newcastle coming away from that game 2-0 winners, costing Arsenal the Champions League as well in that one, which in the end has actually benefited Arsenal this season with the way they've been performing in the league. But before we get into the preview, I do want to allow Josh, of course, to introduce himself to you guys who haven't seen him on the channel before. So if you want to go ahead, Josh.
Yes, guys. First, I want to thank, obviously, Carl for letting me come on the channel today. Really appreciate it. And yeah, my name's Josh. I'm an Arsenal fan. You see my channel is True Gooner. So I'm on my road to 5,000 subscribers, and I do daily Arsenal content. Transfer news, match previews, match reactions, and all that stuff. And you can find me on Instagram, True Gooner as well, Twitter, all the same handle. So big up, guys, and looking forward to be here today.
No worries, that's great. And going into this game, obviously it's going to be a 4:30 kickoff tomorrow at St James's Park. It's a massive atmosphere for this game. It always is at St James's, and of course you've got war flags as well. That'll just bring even more of an atmosphere to this game. Like I've just said, going into the introduction there, that it was a massive game last season. What was your thoughts, on that game last season?
Well, you absolutely battered us. You bullied us in that game. And, going into it, I'm pretty sure you was about, I think it was like 11th, 12th place at the time. So,
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, so, it's not like you was fighting for European football or anything. For us, we was fighting for the top four. I mean, we was in our hands. If we would have beat you, we would have got it. But, mate, you bullied us, The score was 2-0, obviously. I think Callum Wilson and Guimaraes scored, didn't they? Both of the goals.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, and it should have been more to you lot. Midfield dominated us. Guimaraes, what a player he is. I remember when he was at Lyon, right? I would have loved him when we should have got him then, but he went to you guys. Right?
Yeah, he was brilliant.
Yeah, it was mad. And you had so many chances. It should have. I'm not even over exaggerating. It should have been 5-0 to you lot that game. And
yeah,
if
it was like actually quite a dominating game, wasn't it?
Yeah. You just bullied us from minute 1 to 90. We had nothing. So if it's anything like that tomorrow, I'm going to be very, angry because you lot ruined the party last season. Could you do it again this season? We have to wait and see.
Yeah, exactly. Like you say, there's a big chance there that we could ruin the party as well. I have been thinking, all season, that game against Jews, at St James's, that could be the game where, will cost you the title. I mean, will cost you, like I say, that Champions League. And sorry to keep bringing it up, obviously. But, basically, I have been thinking that this could be the game, where we do cost you that title. And even more so, when you've been looking at the recent way Arsenal's been playing as well, they have been dropping off form quite a bit of late. That game against Chelsea was a little bit of a pick-up for us. What was your thoughts on that one?
Yeah, as you said, I agree. I think it was a little pick-up for us, and it's about time we actually won a game because the thought before that, we played Liverpool to start with, Anfield. We was all confident because we're flying in form, top of the league, and we went 2-0 up as well against that Anfield, and we're chilling, man. And then we just bottled it, 2-2, and Liverpool should have won it in the end. If Kanate didn't miss that absolute sitter, Salah didn't miss penalty, they would have won the game. But people were saying to me, it's Anfield, tough place to go to. We haven't beaten Liverpool since 2012, so that's fair enough. Then the next game against West Ham. West Ham are horrendous this season. They're in a relegation battle. We're at London Stadium. We go 2-0 up again, and we put away again 2-2. And it's kind of like, what's going on here, right? But don't worry, because we can bounce back against Southampton, who bottom of the league, horrendous. Yeah, we go 3, and we're at the Emirates. We go 3-1 down to Southampton, and the last minute of the match, bring it back to 3-3. Embarrassing result. More points dropped. And then, of course, the biggest game of the season, Man City, destroyed, humbled, dominated, men against boys for that game, and they battled us 4-1. And then, obviously, the game, we got back to winning ways against Chelsea, but I'm not getting my hopes up too much because Chelsea are horrific this season.
Yeah, they have been.
And first half, we went 3-0 up. And obviously, second half, it's this recurring thing where we sort of slow down a little bit. But I was happy because we was 3-0 in it when we got the job done in the first half. But we're meant to be fighting for the Premier League title, right? We cannot be dropping 4 games. We can keep dropping point after point after point, especially against Man City. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah.
We need to keep up this form, and from now to the end of the season, the last 4 games have to be must win. We've got to hope Man City drop points because for me, it's in their hands now. They've got a game in hand as well. So
yeah, like you say, Man City's got some pretty decent games ahead of them. Leeds is in there, and there's also some other games in there what are winnable games as well. So like you say, you do need to really keep winning. You need to still keep putting in performances. I mean, I watched that Chelsea game, and I sat and watched it with my dad and brother. Like we watch most games, and I've got to say the game against Chelsea was just like, I don't know, it was just Arsenal didn't look like the team that they've been this season. They didn't seem to be there. They just seemed to be off it. It was kind of like our game against Aston Villa at Villa Park. It was kind of like that game. It was just like an off day. And the defense as well for Chelsea was not great. Arsenal should have really been getting in there. They should have got in there a lot more. Obviously, to come away with a win was a good thing for you guys. The Arsenal defense as well, on the other hand, was a dodgy one as well. There was times where you could see Chelsea was able to, pretty much get in there pretty easily, which I thought, for us, looking at that, with the way we have, for attacking, going forward on the front foot football, the high intensity that will play as well. I was thinking, oh my God, if, we get this kind of Arsenal against we're going to absolutely just pulverize them. We're going to get in there. We're going to score a whole bunch of goals. I mean, we did the same to your rivals, Tottenham at St James's. 21 minutes into the game, 9 minutes into the game even, and we're already 2-0 up in the game. So if Arsenal are anything like what Tottenham were like at St James's Park, then that's going to be an interesting game. If it's not like that, then it could be a tight game, which again will be an interesting game. I mean, it's 2 really brilliant sides out of 3 brilliant sides this season. I mean, for me, like I said on Lucas' channel on Thursday when I was doing the preview over there, there's only 3 teams for me that are outstanding teams this season. One of them's us, the other one's Arsenal, and the other one's Man City. So looking at this game, do you think Arsenal still have a chance of winning the league, or do you think this is it? Do you think Man City's going to win it now, or what's your thoughts, mate?
Since that Man City game, when we lost that, got battered, I thought it's over. Give it to Man City. Obviously, I'm going to back this team all the way. I have the hope, got the faith still, but I'm being realistic. I think it's over. I think we bottled it. I'm not blaming the Man City game in particular. I'm blaming the 3 before that. We could not be dropping points to Southampton at the Emirates. We could not be dropping points to West Ham. Right, those 2 games in particular really frustrated me. Even games before that. I mean, we lost to Everton at Goodison Park. Like that's embarrassing. Do you know what I mean? So, but for me, right, I think, as I said, we've got to win these next 4 games. Must win. We've got some tough games. We've got Brighton at home. We struggle against Brighton, and they've been flying this season under De Zerbi. Even a game like Forest away, Forest decent at home, and they could be still in a relegation battle. We don't know yet. So that'll be a tough game. And the last game of the season as well is Wolves. Anything can happen for that game. So, and as you said about Man City, they've got the favourable fixtures, man. And we're just hoping now that Man City drop points. This is what it's come to now. So it's not like it's in our hands anymore. We were 8 points clear, a few weeks ago, and now we're back down to 2nd. So it's kind of mad how football works, because we've been top of the league for, I don't know, there's a crazy stat, like 85% of the season. I'm pretty sure.
Quite a bit of the season, yeah.
Yeah, and just go show you a few bad results, just like that, it could be over. So obviously, I'm going to believe that we can still do it, but realistically, I think we've bottled it. And I don't see us winning it. We're putting it 2nd place, my friend.
Yeah, true. It's at the moment, like I say, it does look like it is Man City's to lose. I mean, they've got 33 games played. You was on 34 games played. We're just behind you as well, on 33 games played as well. So we've got the games in hand there. Man City's got the games in hand as well, and they're like a point ahead of Arsenal. Like I was saying on Lucas' channel, on Thursday on his preview. If Newcastle actually come away from this game and win this game at St James's Park on Sunday, Newcastle come away with 3 points. I'll take with a 68 points, which only puts we, to just 10 points behind yourselves in second place. So there's still a chance, for Newcastle actually overtake us in second place, especially if you continue to keep doing the form like you've been doing, where you haven't really been hitting all cylinders and getting the wins in there. But I think, like I say, it is going to be a very, very tough game. Is there any team news on Gabriel yet?
Yeah. On Tedesco's press conference, it doesn't look like he's going to be fit for tomorrow. So we've got no Saliba either. I'm sure you know about that. But yeah, no Saliba, no Gabriel. So our two centre-backs is Holding and Kiwior. Now, Kiwior played very well against Chelsea the other night. Yeah. Holding. I'm pretty sure Holding played against you lot last season when you battled us 2-0, didn't he?
I think so.
I think it was Holding and Gabriel last season, I think. I can't remember exactly. But yeah.
It's been a while.
It's been a while, yeah. But Holding and Gabriel, and Holding and Kiwior is going to be playing tomorrow, I think. And as you mentioned about the game where you battered Tottenham 6-1, that is what I'm worried about so much, is those two and your attack. It's like, I just saw you capitulate. Not capitulate. I saw Tottenham capitulate against you lot, right? Big time. Alexander Isak, that's a player I'm really worried about, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
He's a techie guy, isn't he? He's a techie baller. Brilliant. Funny enough, we meant to sign the guy. We linked with him for quite a while, but then you snatched him up. It's Sam Gimaresh, we linked with him, but then you get him. So yeah, it's kind of mad, isn't it? But yeah, Gabriel is out, Saliba's out. Other than that, I think that is the only ones. Obviously, no Tomiyasu, but we've got Ben White there anyway. Other than that, I think that's all the team lose for Arsenal.
Yeah, like you say, Gabriel. Did you say Gabriel was going to be available for that, or
for tomorrow?
Yeah.
No, he's out.
He's out for that one.
Holding a keyboard.
So that'll be quite an interesting one to see. For the defence there on Arsenal's side, see how he is actually go up against our attack, with the chances, being that Isak will be from the off. There's talk that, we maybe could go with Wilson and Isak in the game as well from the off, which is, what quite a lot of us Newcastle United fans have been asking for. But at the moment, the reason they're not both playing at the same time is pretty much like Eddie said in his press conference, is because there is nobody on the bench that we could then bring on, later on into the game to freshen the team up a bit. So, when we get to the point where, we have a bit more in the squad depth going forward, then, I'm sure we will be seeing people like Isak and Wilson both playing at the same time. But, we're two fantastic teams. We've both been playing absolutely amazing this season. So it will be a very tight game. On the Newcastle side of the news, going into the game, of course, Jamal Lascelles won't be able to feature because he's got a calf injury. But even if he didn't have the calf injury, I still don't think he would feature because, like I say, our defence has been absolutely fantastic this season, and it's been pretty consistent as well. Left back of Dan Burn, the two centre-back pairing of Botman and Shaw, then Kieran Trippier out right back, so it's been pretty consistent defence. We have seen of late, though, since Matty Targett's got a little bit fitter, that he is coming back into the side a couple of times off of the bench, which, obviously that's just to try and make sure that, Dan Burn doesn't burn himself out. Pardon the pun there, of course. But, yeah. But looking at our team, you know, there's a lot of players in our team that I think could cause problems for Arsenal going forward in the game and going back as well in the game. Bruno, you know, like you've just said, absolutely fantastic player. He's been killing it in Newcastle since he's come in from Lyon, you know, and he's really took this as his home as well, and we've adopted him in as a Geordie, you know, like we'll do. If a player's willing to pull on the shirt and put in the performances, then he's going to get the backing of the fans. And Bruno is exactly that. You know, Bruno's just been fantastic all over the game, you know, when he's been called upon it. And when he hasn't played, you know, we have missed him in the midfield. Same with Sean Longstaff as well. Unfortunately, I don't know if he'll play or not because he has a foot injury, but it looks like it might not be as bad. So he could possibly play, or he could be on the bench for the game. It still remains to be seen on that one. I think it's going to be a last minute check for that one for Sean Longstaff. Maxi looks like he could be available for the game after having a hamstring problem. He was out in Marseille or Monaco, I believe it was, doing fitness training with 2 Newcastle physios that were sent out there. But there's a lot of talk surrounding Maxi as well, possibly departing Newcastle. One of the clubs, of course, being named, which was your club, Arsenal. What's your thoughts on that one? Would you take Maxi at Arsenal?
Look, he's a quality player. He's a player that if he does play tomorrow, I'm going to be right about. But I just believe we've got too much depth there at the moment. And, you know, we've got Martinelli, we've got Saka, Trossard, Nelson is looking like he could sign a new contract and probably stay at Arsenal. And if we did want another winner, no disrespect to Maxi, but I'll go and get someone like Matoma from Brighton. I think he's pretty world class. But send Maximin to Arsenal, I don't know. How much would the price be? How much do you think? How much would you sell him for?
Well, the amount that the rumor was going around it was about 50 million. That's what they were saying, about 50 million for Maxi depart from Newcastle. To be honest, with Maxi, I think on his game, you know, he's absolutely fantastic. He's absolutely unplayable on his game. So I would say 50 million would be pretty respectable fee considering what he has done so far. You know, he hasn't done absolutely loads, but I would love to see him stay as well because of the ability of him being just absolutely unplayable when he's on his game. I think there is still a chance, you know, that Maxi could, you know, adapt to the Eddie Howe philosophy. The reasons behind all of this news, you know, saying that he could be departing is purely down to the fact that he obviously hasn't had much game time this season. No. But again, that is, you know, the injury problems. He's had quite a lot of them, and that is a problem, of course, with him as well. So I would say 50 million, you know, we could get rid of him. We could put that into bringing somebody else into the club. I don't know what the Newcastle fans, of course, in the chat think to that. But, of course, my opinion would be, you know, get rid of him. If we can, you know, if he's not going to be able to adapt, then put that money into bringing somebody in like maybe it's Moussa Diaby, which is a player that is absolutely fantastic. It's been linked to it quite a bit. Maybe even Matoma at Brighton as well, because he is another player that seems to be really adapting in the Premier League quite well. There's a few other players around as well that I wouldn't mind seeing join Newcastle, to be honest. James Maddison as well. You know, Paqueta at West Ham, maybe, though he hasn't really hit the ground running at West Ham. That could be down to Moyes, though. I think if he was with somebody like Bruno, you know, maybe would see what he was doing at Lyon, at Newcastle. But yeah, I think 50 million would be the fee I would probably take for Maxi. Going into this game, the referee for the game will be Chris Kavanagh. Of course, Manchester-based ref, which isn't fantastic for us Newcastle United fans because we have just come off the back of a game against Southampton where we had a Manchester ref in that game, and he wasn't that great. He was making some very questionable decisions in the game, and of course, the game in itself wasn't great for us neither. In the first half, we looked very much out of it. We didn't seem to be there in the game much. And of course, Southampton scored a goal in that game through Stuart Armstrong scoring the goal in the game. Then, of course, we came out in the second half of that game with a switch of Wilson coming on at half time for Anthony Gordon. And that's another player as well, Anthony Gordon, who I feel, needs to have time to adapt to Eddie Howe's philosophy as well, because quite a few people are already getting on his back, which I don't agree with. He's only a young lad. He needs to be given a chance, at Newcastle. And, at the moment, I think that is another one that definitely needs to be given his chance to, adapt to Eddie Howe's philosophy. But that game against Southampton, Wilson came on, seemed to look completely different. We're seeing Isak and Wilson combining together, and we're seeing Wilson scoring twice in that game. Fantastic goals as well. He's now up to 15 goals, so, that is absolutely amazing. I think it's his best he's had as well in the Premier League. I'd have to check on that one, of course, but I believe that is his best he's had in the Premier League. And I see, RD12 here also talking about Kieran Tierney being heavily linked to Newcastle. So I'll touch on that one. Of course, he is a great player. Kieran Tierney does seem to be quite good at Arsenal as well in that left back position. Would I take him at Newcastle? Maybe. But looking at, things like injury-wise, looking at his injury history, that could be a stickling point for me because we need players that are going to be able to play, a majority of the games in the season. We don't need players that are going to be, on the injury table more than on the field. And especially with next season as well, with the possibility of, well, not the possibility because we already know that we're going to be in Europe next season, be it, Champions League or whatever. But at the moment, it does look like it's going to be Champions League. So we're going to need bodies that are quality. We're going to need players in there that are going to be able to do a job for us. And would Kieran Tierney do that? I would say yes. But then on the other hand, the injuries, like I say, would cause problems for us. What's your thoughts, Josh, mate, on that? Kieran Tierney being
Tierney, listen, big like RD12 as well, he comes to my channel all the time, but he knows, and people who watch my channel regularly know, Tierney's one of my favorite, he's my favorite player. I got him on the back of my shirt and everything. Like, I love that guy. I mean, this guy is just, we signed him from Celtic. He won so many trophies at Celtic. He gave us that experience. I think Unai Emery signed him. He was world class for us in his first season. When Arteta came in Arteta's first season, when we finished 8th, he was probably our best player. Really, fought for the shirt when we was losing game after game after game that season. And then ever since we signed Zinchenko, that's that for Tierney. Tierney's not even started a game in the Premier League since West Ham. That's I think his first appearance in the Premier League this season. I could be wrong, but other than that, he's been playing Europa League, Carabao Cup matches. Zinchenko's completely wiped out the squad, which I completely disagree with Arteta for doing that. I think Tierney is a quality left back. He can defend. Zinchenko, we've seen him over the past 4 or 5 games. The guy's horrendous in defence. Right, he's very good with his feet, very good going forward, and we see him everywhere but left back. He's always in the midfield. So why are we playing him left back and not midfield? Because he plays midfield for Ukraine. So it doesn't make sense to me. But anyway, Tierney can cross the ball as well, attacks really well. And if he goes to Newcastle, you're going to have an absolutely fantastic player on your hands. I know you've got Dan Burn, but I think you will be looking for another left back in the summer. So Tierney, I wish him all the best, and I would love to see him stay. But I think he should take this move to Newcastle, and I think he'll absolutely smash it there. Could you imagine Tierney left back, Trippier right back, Botman, and then another new centre back? It'll be scenes, bro, for you lot. So yeah, I love Tierney. I'd hate to see him go, but if you do get him, he'll be a fantastic player on your hands, that's for sure.
So how much would you say, Arsenal should get rid of Tierney for? How much would you be taking?
Personally, I think we would get around. I see Arsenal selling him. This is the thing with Arsenal. We every time we buy a player now, we don't sell them for a higher price anymore.
Yeah.
We seem to get a lot of money for them. Around 40 million, I would say, for Tierney.
40 million.
I see us selling them for. What I was selling it for is, of course, 60, 70, but that's just my opinion. But what Arsenal's going to do is like 40 million, I think.
That's not too bad, to be honest, when you consider like most of the players out there. When you look at players for left backs, you mean like Alphonso Davies, he'd probably be like upwards of maybe 60 million or more because of his caliber in the European game. There's other ones as well, like Ferland Mendy as well, Real Madrid. Again, another player that would be well over 60 million. So Kieran Tierney for like 40 million, I think wouldn't be too bad of a deal. I think probably Dan Ashworth could probably get that down a lot more than maybe. Maybe he's getting about 20, 30 million, something like that for Kieran Tierney. I don't know what you're thinking about that, of course, but we all know what Dan Ashworth's like. He's a genius when it comes to negotiating deals. I mean, look at what he got Kieran Trippier for. From Atletico Madrid after he just won the La Liga, just got the team of the season as well in Spain. So, in another one as well, like Bruno from Lyon, Bruno didn't cost that much neither from Lyon when you consider what he's done. You'd be paying upwards of about 100 million or so now for somebody of Bruno's caliber, and Bruno himself, is well up there now. From what we're paid for him. Same with Kieran Trippier and most of the other players in the team as well. Their prices are quite high up now. Of course, looking at the form going into this game, get it up. Just try and share this with everybody on screen if I can. Yep, so this is the league table up on screen, of course. Usually in second place in the league, like we talked about. Newcastle, of course, are third in the league. And you can see it there by the form, Newcastle coming into this game on the back of just 4 wins out of 5 games. But looking at it from a 9-game perspective, we're coming into this on the back of 8 wins out of the last 9. Arsenal, your team. What's your form coming into this game?
Not great. Not great, to be honest. As I said before, that we beat Chelsea on Tuesday, got back to winning ways, but the 4 games before that, we didn't win. And then I'm trying to think. So we played after Liverpool. Who did we play before Liverpool? I think we played Leeds and Crystal Palace. We got 4-1 wins in that game.
One sec, I'll get it on here for you, mate.
Leeds 4-1, Palace 4-1. Then we played Europa League. We got knocked out in Europa League. That was embarrassing. Fulham, we beat 3-0. And then is that Bournemouth? Yeah, that Bournemouth game as well. We almost that Bournemouth game they went 2-0 up again. I don't know if you remember. They went 2-0 up against Arsenal, and Reece Nelson 98th minute winner, and we won the game 3-2. So, but yeah. As I said, them 4 games were horrendous, and we didn't win it in any of those 4 games. Obviously, played Chelsea, and we got back to winning ways. So, you've been on the better form, and I'm pretty sure Arsenal, Newcastle have still lost. We've both lost 4 games. Still this season, right?
4 games, yeah.
The issue with you lot is the draws, isn't it? You've got about 11 draws or something. 13 draws.
What was it exactly? 9 draws.
It is. 9 draws. 9 draws.
No, sorry, that's not right. Oh. It's 11 draws. 11 draws.
11 draws. There you go.
So 11 draws out of 33 games. It's not bad, really, when you consider it. And some of them games, should have been really wins. The game against Bournemouth, we played at St James's Park. I mean, that was a draw. It should have really been a win. Newcastle were absolutely dominant in that game. But like you say, the 3 Man City, Arsenal, Newcastle sitting in the top 3. We've only lost 4 games, and when you look at the closest team to it, that's Man United, and they've lost 4 extra games compared to us three in there. So looking at it, we're definitely the best three this season. Who would have thought that, Newcastle would be this high? I was seeing about fifth for us this season to finish, so even going past my expectations this season. But, it's just going to be an absolutely massive season next season. This season, of course, has been the foundation season, building the blocks for, the seasons ahead for us Newcastle fans. And I mean, from your perspective, did you think Arsenal would be, having this season like this?
No chance. I don't. If you ask one Arsenal fan, Arsenal being a title race, 8 points clear. I know in our second, but if you would have asked them that at the start of the season, they would have think you're smoking something weird or something, because it was everyone's aim for this season, which for me I totally disagreed with. But everyone's asking me, only Arsenal fans, their aim was top four again. Top four and win the Europa League, get back Champions League. I disagree with that because I believe that it's been 19 years now since Arsenal last won a Premier League trophy. I've never seen my team win a Premier League title. I've seen us win FA Cups, Community Shields. Like, we are still the third biggest club in London. Sorry, not London. We're the biggest club in London. We're still the third biggest club in England, I should say. So as a club, the size of Arsenal Football Club, we moved to the Emirates. We got told we moved to the Emirates to compete with the European elite. Like Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, and being up there, challenging for the league title. And we haven't done that at all. So, yeah, that is my standard, is for Arsenal to be challenging for the league title. We're doing that right now. So that's fair enough. And also Champions League next season, also go far in that if we can, because we're seeing how poor Arsenal have been in the cup competitions this season. Knocked out in the first round to Brighton, knocked out in the FA Cup by Man City, knocked out in the last 16 to Sporting Lisbon.
Yeah.
Like, if we can't even win Europa League and beat Sporting Lisbon with the squad we've got now, how are we going to go Champions League and get any further? I just don't see how it's going to happen. But yeah, I'm not, don't get it twisted. It's been a fantastic season. I've been so proud of the players. Arteta's proved me wrong, because I've been slating the guy for quite a while now. I didn't want him in the first place, but I did have to hold my hands up to the guy. He's got us into a title race, so fair play to him. Next season, we need to go sign some new players, get the elite players in, and go again next season. We cannot go from challenging for the league title this season to now next season going and finish fifth again. Because teams will get better. You lot, you're third right now. You sign some big players in with the money you got, you'll be up there for me next season in a title race, in my opinion, right? I feel like Liverpool, they could be back next season. I don't think they have the same season that they have in this season. You always can have Man City up there in the first place. Man United, if they get an Osimhen as well. And we have to wait and see what happens with Chelsea. So, yeah, it's not going to be as easy. I'm not saying it's easy, but it's not going to be as it was this season, in my opinion. Next season, I think the teams will be a lot more better and improve the scores a lot more. Yeah,
I agree with you. I think this season, we've seen, teams like Chelsea, they've dropped off quite a bit. I mean, they're right the way down to about 12th in the league, and they've got a chance, I believe, to play today, I think it is. And they've got a chance, to drop down to about 14th or 15th, which is pretty bad for Chelsea when you consider, how much they've spent this season, 650 million, I believe it was, and they're on a new manager as well, or caretaker manager at least, of course. So, it didn't work out for Graham Potter there. So obviously they're really bad at the moment. They're going to have to do something about that, I'm sure. So that's a team that, we'll have to watch out for going forward. Like you say, Liverpool as well. Liverpool hasn't been very good this season. They've started to pick up a little bit now, but now I think is a little too late for them to, be seeing themselves maybe playing the Champions League. They still have a chance, don't get us wrong, but I think it might be a little bit out of their reach now. Of course, with the other teams that are ahead of them as well. For me, the way the season finishes now, I see, Man City winning the league. I see maybe Newcastle finishing second place. If not, then third place. Arsenal finishing second place. And, Man United picking up fourth. That's how the top four finishes for me. I don't know if you'd agree with that or not, or, what's your top four?
Top four, I hate to say it, Man City win the league, I think. Second place. If we continue this form and you win your last 4 games, when say we drop points, you could, as you said, overtake us, innit? So I wouldn't be surprised if that did happen because there were some tough games, as I mentioned. I do think we are going to get second place. You lot definitely get third. I think I think you definitely get third. Fourth place. Liverpool could do it, you know. I think Liverpool could get back. I think Man United will end up, but I haven't looked at Man United's fixtures, but I'm going to go with Liverpool getting top 4, funny enough. I think Man United are going to bottle it, fall down to 5th.
They could do. I'll try and see if I can get their fixtures. If you want to answer this question here, mate, and I'll just go look at them fixtures.
Facts, 4 years enough for Arteta because Klopp won the league is in that amount. No, 90 years without a title charge is not enough. Exactly, RD12. Yeah, bro, you're the same age as me, RD12, and we've only seen our club win FA Cups and Community Shields. The club side of Arsenal, unacceptable. So, yeah, obviously, like Arteta, for me, I said a minute ago, I hold my hands up to the guy. He's got us into a title race, but next season is another big season for him, and he needs to do the same thing. We cannot go from top challenging for the title this season to next season finishing 5th. You know, because we finished 2nd this season as well. We've won 0 trophies. We've got knocked out of all the cups as well. So yeah. Anyone looking at that, I think, oh well, Arsenal haven't really had a successful season. I know we finished 2nd, and we've improved from our last season, but we've won nothing as well. So people will look at it that way. But yeah, I agree with you, RD12,
man. Yeah, I think Arteta's doing a really good job. To be honest, it's yes at the moment, and I think it should continue to back him. To be honest, I think he is a very good manager. You know, there's moments though where I've seen this season that I wasn't very happy about. I mean, his reactions on the sideline. But we'll say that, don't we, from pretty much every Premier League manager these days. You know, we'll see it from Jurgen Klopp quite a bit. I mean, he gets in trouble all the time about it as well for the antics on the sideline. But I think Arteta's doing a pretty good job at Arsenal, and we'll see what he does next season for you. These are the fixtures for Man U. What's left in their season, mate?
They've got, obviously West Ham, tough game, London Stadium. I think they'll win that. Wolves, Bournemouth, Chelsea, Fulham. I might have to change them, bro. Fixtures. I'm going to go Man United top 4 then. Just looking at them fixtures, I think they'll not lose many of them, will they? So I see Man United getting top 4 looking at them fixtures.
Yeah, that's pretty good, mate. So looking at a few comments through the comment section here, we've got, try and find one. We've got Ramsdale and Nick Pope here. Tom asking, which one would you choose, Ramsdale or Nick Pope? I'm going to have to go with me boy Nicky on this one.
That's a great debate. That is a very good. Both of them are world class. Both
brilliant goals.
Both of them probably going to be in the England squad in the future, won't they? So that's tough. Ramsdale's very good at distribution wise, shot stopping. Same with Nick Pope though. That's a tough one, man.
Exactly. It is a very tough one.
I'm gonna have to lean towards Ramsdale because I'm an Arsenal fan. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to lean towards Nicky Pope as well, unfortunately, on that one. Good question though by Tom. Really is. Let's see if we've got some more comments here. Just go through a quick few of the comments. Got Jordan saying yo to Tom. Got the question from RD12 there as well. It's 30 Rory bro. What's that? 30 years we don't win a Premier League title.
He's a Liverpool fan, and I think they went 30 years without winning a Premier League title or something.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, because they hadn't won a title since 1990.
Wow, that's mad.
Which is a long, long time. Eventually picking up that title. I've got to say, you know, for a lot of people saying that Liverpool's that big of a club, I mean, that was pretty bad to go that long without winning the title. Quite a few teams, though, to be honest, you know, that have not won Premier League titles for a long time. But I don't know. It's just a strange situation with some of these teams. Looking at this comment as well, RD12 goes, I would just go Pope, but Ramsdale did get in the team of the season. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I only went Ramsdale because I'm an Arsenal fan, and I had to back Ramsdale. But no, look, RD12's being really realistic. You know, yeah, both of them are superb goalkeepers, as I just mentioned, and Ramsdale did get team of the season. Yeah, he did. But yeah, Pope should have got one as well, in my opinion. But yeah, both of them are superb goalkeepers, man. It's going to be very interesting how both defensive play tomorrow as well, and the game in general. You know, because we go back to the game of the Emirates when you came to the Emirates and you had one game plan only, and that was to sit back and be aggressive with Arsenal. That's exactly executed. You executed that really well. You got a point. For us, a point that wasn't. We were disappointed in that because we wanted 3 points, obviously. But I don't know if you would have took. You know, did you take the point in your opinion? Or was it 2 points drop for that game?
That game down at the Emirates this season, I thought it was a very tight game. There was chances in there for Newcastle to come away with 3 points, but I mean, taking a point from the Emirates this season is pretty huge, considering, you know, what teams have played down there and haven't been able to pick up points. So I was pretty happy with it, but there was chances in there to pick up the 3 points. But all in all, you know, pretty happy, to be honest, just to take like something away from it instead of it being a loss. It's helped in the long run, really, you know, picking up a point down there, and some of the other games as well, like the Tottenham game at St James's Park. You know, that was a game where a few people were actually writing them off in that game and were proved them wrong. Then there was the game, you know, against Everton at Goodison Park again. Some more people saying, you know, that'll be a stickling game for when we went in there and did, you know, an absolutely amazing game as well. And then, you know, the other game recently with Southampton where we're put in a performance of absolutely amazing ability in the second half. So I feel, looking at this season so far as a Newcastle United fan, you know, with what's left of it now, I feel we can look back at this season and be pretty happy with what we've done. Yes, we won the League Cup final. We didn't win it, you know, but like I said on Lucas' channel on Thursday, you know, there's plenty of more finals ahead for us. That isn't the last one. You know, that won't be the last time we're seeing Newcastle United in a final. So I'm not really that disheartened about losing that to Man United. We then, of course, got revenge for that anyway against Man United in the game, winning in the league. So looking at it, you know, if we look back at this season and say we'll get Champions League football and we'll go into next season with Champions League football, that is the goal, because that's what we've set out for in the first place. You know, the League Cup was just a bonus if we could win that. And it's daft to say that, I know, being that it was the first final in 24 years. But to look at it, you know, it was a bonus because we didn't know that we were going to make it that far through the cup. And then you look at the other cup, you know, like the FA Cup, where we went and played against Sheffield Wednesday and it just didn't click. It was kind of like the Aston Villa game again. You know, every team has it. Even the greats can have days, you know, where they just don't play as well. We've seen it with Man City. You know, they've done it in the past. Where, you know, Newcastle picked up a win against Man City when Rafa Benitez was the manager here. And, you know, so looking at it, you know, I can see some fans will have a bit of a whinge about the way this season's played out, but I'm happy with the way it's played out in the way because, you know, we're in Europe. That was the main goal to begin with. But Looking at a comment here from RD12, he's saying the issues with Arteta is that he's slowly starting to have his favourites and is afraid to drop players that aren't playing well. What's your thoughts on that?
100% agree. 100% agree because Zinchenko's been poor for the past 4 games now, but Tini doesn't even get off the bench anymore, pretty much, and he never gets to start anymore. I don't understand it, and he's even with Saka. Yeah, I love Saka. Arsenal fans love Saka, but he's been
like Saka.
Yeah, even you like Saka. He's not been to his standard though. He's been poor the past few games. You know, Reece Nelson's crying out for a start. Reece Nelson scored. This season, Reece Nelson's been fantastic, and he's only played about 5 Premier League games this season, right? He came off the bench against Nottingham Forest early, and we won 5-0. He scored 2 goals off the bench when Saka got injured, right? Not seen since. Then we've got then we played obviously Bournemouth, right? And he's came off the bench, scored the winner. Again, nothing, you know, not been seen after that. And even the game against Man City, when we got battered 4-1, he came on, and I said he's the only player who made an impact in that game, who actually gave and actually showed that he wanted to be there. And again, doesn't get his chance. I don't understand it. You know, I agree. He does have his favourites. and Saka's got to be one of them. And look, we all love Saka, but he's been poor, and it'll be interesting to see. I mean, in my lineup, I did actually drop. I funny enough was going to drop Saka for this game and play Reece Nelson because, you know, I feel like you lot are going to double up on Saka, you know, whereas Reece Nelson's more unpredictable because he hasn't played in quite a while. And Saka, obviously up against Dan Burn, that's why I would go with him because we saw him at the Emirates. Dan Burn did Saka got the better him a few times, but then Dan Burn was actually pretty decent against, and he's been fantastic. I need Dan Burn this season for you lot.
Yeah, he's been absolutely amazing. That's a player that, like you say, he got the best over Saka in the game down at the Emirates, and that's a player that, you know, that a lot of people have been criticising Dan Burn, saying that he's slow, that he was a bad choice to bring to Newcastle. But when you look at it, you know, he's a local lad. It was always going to be a great move for him because it allows him to come back to his home area. He's going to play with all of his heart as well because he's wearing the black and white stripes. I mean, you know, he's a local lad. He grew up in Blythe, and, you know, he went to St James's Park, watched the games growing up during an absolutely fantastic era for Newcastle, and he has that same passion, you know, that all us local lads have to want to play for Newcastle, wear the black and white stripes. I mean, obviously you'll be the same as well, you know, growing up supporting Arsenal and wanting to pull on the Arsenal shirt. So to have that in your team is a benefit. So I don't see where all these people have criticised, you know, and wanted to say, oh, well, you shouldn't have him because he's slow. He's not that slow, you know. You don't need to be absolutely lightning fast when you're Dan Burn, you're 6'7". You can cover more ground than anybody else can, you know, so you don't really need to be absolutely fast when you're Dan Burn. The same with most other very tall players as well. You don't need to be quick when you're that tall because your leg span is just so massive that you can, you know, just cover a lot more ground a lot faster. The ability as well of being able to push people off the ball at that size as well is a huge benefit. And I think the reason our defense has been doing so well this season is the sheer size of it. I mean, when you look at the team at the back in the defense, you know, the smallest guy in the defense is Kieran Trippier. He is literally the smallest guy in the defense. You look at the other,
really good.
You look at the other 3 defenders, and Botman is an absolute tank. You know, Shaw is an absolute tank as well. He can go forward. He can get in there. He can have massive long shots as well. Look at the long shot he did against Nottingham Forest at the start of this season. That was absolutely fantastic goal by Shaw. And to think, you know, that he was brought in well before Eddie Howe. You know, Shaw's been here for a long time now, and we only paid $3 million from. So $3 million for a player, you know, that has well and truly outlasted quite a few managers in Newcastle since coming in. You know, it's absolutely amazing. The abilities put behind, you know, the team as well. And I'm sure, you know, he will get an absolutely massive reception, once he does retire. There's people saying, that we should be looking at a replacement for him. I mean, yes, obviously, because he is going to retire eventually. But for now, at the moment, Fabian Shaw has got quite a few years still ahead of him left, in my opinion. The way he plays is just absolutely fantastic. But Dan Burn is definitely a player that I love seeing playing in black and white shirt. Like I say, he pulls on the shirt, and he gives it his whole. And there's a lot of other lads in the team as well like that. But I think Saka, he's had his moments at Arsenal this season. He's really come on leaps and bounds since that incident, for England, where he missed the penalty for England. And I give them a support message, for that. I sent him a support message. He replied back, which was nice of him to reply back. I didn't.
Oh, did he? Did he reply back?
Yeah, I didn't actually send him the message to get a reply back. I just sent a message, I thought, it's the right thing to do. Give the lad a little bit of confidence. Plus, he's a Newcastle fan as well, so even more, even more reason to want to support him as well, because his dad supports Newcastle as well. So, even had a little bit of a carry on, saying, "Oh, you couldn't join Newcastle," and he put a little thumbs up in there, laughing emojis and stuff. So, yeah, it's just brilliant to see, people like that interacting. It's nice. But he's come on leaps and bounds since that. So obviously, I'd love to see him play for Newcastle one day, but I don't know when that would happen. If we could even afford to get him away from, well, we could afford it, but would we'll be able to get him away from Arsenal. Arsenal would be asking quite a bit of money, I'm sure, for it. And if we would want to pay that money, that's the question. But yeah. What is your score prediction, mate, for the game on Sunday?
Score prediction, I think it's going to be a very open game. I think it's going to be an end-to-end game. If you're neutral, definitely watch this game because it's going to be very exciting, I think. Lots of goals, I reckon. We've been leaking goals in left, right and centre. Even though your defence has been good, I think our attack will be up for it tomorrow. I'm going to go Newcastle 2. I'm backing Arsenal. I'm going to go 3-2 to Arsenal. Come on, the Gunners.
3-2 Arsenal, you're saying. That's not a bad prediction, to be fair. There's not many teams that have scored multiple goals against for this season. So that could be an interesting one to see, if that happens. Hopefully not. But I'm going to stick with my same prediction that I said on Thursday. I feel that's a justified prediction. I'm going to go with 2-1 Newcastle. Callum Wilson may be scoring in the game. I mean, he's absolutely on fire at the moment. The way he's banging in the goals. And we're seeing him, on the Football podcast. I don't know if you watch that. His podcast with Mikel Antonio. And he was on there. Yeah, he was on there.
That, yeah.
And he was talking about, Newcastle. And he was talking about his season so far. And he was saying, that he's absolutely paid off, that he's not getting as much playing time as what he would think, he wanted. But at the end of the day, he's willing to, hunker down and get into the action, and prove that he deserves a place in the team. And, Eddie Howe's all 4 players that are willing to do that. He's not complaining. He's not saying, I should be playing over Isak. He's relishing the, relishing that competitiveness that is there, and that's good. That's good for a striker, because that allows somebody like Callum Wilson, who is already an absolutely amazing player, to then take that ability to, 10 levels above what he's capable of doing, and taking it to the next level. Same with Isak as well. He's relishing it as well, and being able to take that energy and taking it onto the pitch and putting it into the games. So there's no individualism in Newcastle. It's all about teamwork. That's something that Eddie Howe has pushed from day one since coming in. That we want team players. We don't want players that are going to be playing as individuals. I mean, you see it when we go to kick off the game. You know, you see Newcastle getting a huddle and you know, do teamwork bond before we play the game. Some of the other clubs that we've played against, like Liverpool, you know, you see them just going off and getting in their positions ready to play the game. I feel that's a wrong move. You know, when you're a football team, you need to be a team, you need to be together. You know, you can't play as individuals. It's just not going to work. And that's probably why, you know, Liverpool haven't done as well this season. Same with Chelsea as well. You know, they're just going off and getting into their positions and they're not being a team. Arsenal, I've seen Arsenal, you know, this season getting a huddle. So it's the right way to go about it, you know, because you get to see the players, you know, being more than just players on the field. They're also, you know, connecting with each other in their personal life off the field, and that's what you need, you know, because it gets them bonds, it gets deep bonds into the team. But yeah, my score prediction for the game on Sunday will be 2-1, and I think Callum Wilson will score in the game as well. So before we wrap up the stream, I'd like to say thanks for coming on the stream, Josh, mate, and where can people find you?
Yeah, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for the invite, and yeah, hopefully next season we can do the same thing again, as always. And yeah, look, honestly, apart from tomorrow, I wish you luck for the rest of the season, and I hope you lot do get third, and I hope you lot. Maybe we can meet in the Champions League last 16 or finals next season or something. Who knows, man? Anything can happen in it. But
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you can find me obviously YouTube, just True Gunnar. As I said at the start, I'm on the road to 5K subscribers, and I do daily Arsenal content. Also, I'm on Twitter. It's just the same handle. Instagram as well is all the same. And yeah, once again, thank you for the invite. And yeah, may the best team win for tomorrow.
Cheers, mate. Same goes. May the best team win for tomorrow. So, like Josh says, go follow him over on True Gunnar. Also, if you can, please hit subscribe on the channel as well. I'm trying to get to the 2K subscribers. Quite a little bit away from it now. So if we can get that, that would be amazing. Also, hit a like on the video as well. And you can also donate to the channel as well if you want to. By the super thanks down below. That would also be amazing, as it does, of course, help to grow the channel, because all money donated does go straight back into the channel. So, like we say, the game will be on Sunday, 4:30 kickoff, and I believe it is live on TV for that one. Yep, it's live on Sky Sports. And any Newcastle fans that are going to the game, make sure to take your black and white scarves. War Flags have put the announcement out. They want a sea of black and white in St James's Park tomorrow. They want the flags waving in the air for the lads to see. And let's see out this season in true style and get Champions League football. Until next time, I'll see you all there. Thanks to Josh for coming on, and how are the lads?